Torrential rain batters South Korea, triggering landslides and leaving 7 dead. 3 people missing, 7 injured and more than 1,500 people evacuated, with numbers set to rise as dam overflows. 7 people died, 3 were missing and more than 1,500 evacuated in South Korea on Saturday, officials said, as a third day of torrential rains caused landslides and the overflow of a dam. As of 11 a.m. local time, 1,567 people had been evacuated nationwide, according to the Ministry of Interior and Safety, and the number could rise as water overtopped the dam in North Chungcheong province. He is taking it to the next level, the expert verdict on Tom Cruise's epic mission, Impossible Stunts. Mai Johnston, a stunt veteran of Suicide Squad, Deadpool and more, analyzes the new blockbuster's hair-raising action sequences, and praises the star's commitment to realism. Tom Cruise's new film Mission Impossible, Dead Reckoning Part 1 is stuffed with spectacular stunts, but one in particular has grabbed the world's attention. Riding a motorbike off the top of a 1,240 meters high crag, plummeting down its vertical, semi-cylindrical face, and opening his parachute, base jump style, just before he hits the ground. Cruise says it's, far and away the most dangerous thing he'd ever attempted, and in a video released by the filmmakers, revealed he had trained for the stunt by making more than 500 skydives and 13,000 motocross jumps over an 80-feet mound, as well as training for a year in base jumping, a specialist skill involving parachuting from fixed objects including radio masts and skyscrapers. A practice ramp was constructed in a quarry in Wallingford, Oxfordshire, stuffed with fall-breaking plastic bags, before taking on the actual leap off the Helsetkoppen in Norway. Cruise performed the stunt 6 times for the camera. Boris Johnson criticizes mealy-mouthed NATO over Ukraine membership. Boris Johnson has criticized NATO's mealy-mouthed procrastination, and called for a timetable to be drawn up for Ukraine to join the alliance, after this week's difficult summit in Lithuania. Writing in his weekly column in the Daily Mail, the former Prime Minister said it was no wonder that Volodymyr Zelensky found it hard to conceal his frustration at the joint declaration released on Tuesday that stopped short of outlining a roadmap to NATO membership. Leaders of the 31 NATO countries declined to lay out clear conditions for Ukraine to eventually join, with concerns led by Germany and the US that too firm a commitment could prompt further Russian escalation. Johnson expressed sympathy for Zelensky, as the Ukrainian president tweeted it was unprecedented and absurd for no timeframe to be set out for his country to either be formally invited to join NATO or be granted membership. Now is not the time for Ukraine to join NATO. Katrina Vanden Heuvel. While Western leaders acknowledge Ukraine could not join NATO immediately, given under Article 5 that would require all other countries in the alliance to take up arms against Russia, Johnson raised concerns that some countries may rule out the move as part of a negotiated solution with Russia. That is madness, wrote Johnson. Throughout this war there has been a Western tendency to make the same mistake, over and over again, to overestimate Putin, and to underestimate Ukraine. He continued, no country is in greater need of NATO membership. All the alliance needed to do was to set out a timetable, not for instant membership. That makes no sense as long as the war is live, but for membership as soon as victory is won. All we needed was words to the effect that accession could begin as soon as the war was over, on the understanding that his could be as early as next year. It would have been the right message for those brave Ukrainians now fighting for their lives, like struggling swimmers who suddenly see the safety of the shore. Johnson, who was close to Zelensky while in number 10 and has visited Ukraine since stepping down as Prime Minister, claimed the assurances released in a communique amounted to little more than those adopted in 2008. The group of leading economies, known as the G7, also committed to plans for long-term security arrangements aimed at guaranteeing weapons supply and economic support to Ukraine while the war continues. Johnson said the move was not enough, and added, "It is time to be strong, end the mealy-mouthed procrastination, and get Ukraine into NATO as fast as we can." Rishi Sunak adopted a cautious public position this week, with the Prime Minister telling reporters he wanted to see demonstrable progress towards eventual membership and that Ukraine's rightful place was in the alliance. Ben Wallace, the UK Defence Secretary, went further in an interview, arguing that Ukraine had demonstrated it was a healthier democracy, as it fought against Russia, and that, whenever the conflict finishes, we should be prepared as quickly as possible to bring Ukraine closer.